What if I told you that turning 85 brings 5 harsh realities that nobody warns you about, and most people are completely unprepared when they hit? I'm about to reveal 5 brutal truths about life at 85 that doctors, family members, and even senior guides rarely discuss openly, but understanding them now could save you years of struggle and confusion. These aren't gentle changes or gradual adjustments. These are sudden, dramatic shifts that can catch you completely off guard if you haven't prepared for them properly. The 5th reality is so psychologically devastating that it causes more seniors to give up on life than any physical ailment, yet it's completely preventable if you know what's coming and prepare for it properly. Arthur from Boston thought he was ready for his 85th birthday after planning his finances and healthcare meticulously for decades. Within 6 months of turning 85, he faced challenges he never anticipated and realized that no one had prepared him for the emotional and practical realities that hit harder than any physical decline. The changes weren't just physical, they were social, emotional, and psychological in ways that surprised everyone around him. Reality 1. Your social world shrinks to almost nothing. By age 85, you'll have lost approximately 70% of your lifelong friends to death, illness, or disability, leaving you with a social network that's a fraction of what you once had. Harvard Medical School's longitudinal study on aging followed over 2,000 adults for 30 years and found that social isolation accelerates dramatically after age 80, with the steepest decline occurring between ages 85 and 90. The researchers discovered that most 85-year-olds attend more funerals than birthday parties, weddings, or social gatherings combined each year. Your childhood friends, work colleagues, neighbors, and even family members of your generation begin disappearing from your life at an alarming rate, leaving you with fewer people who share your memories, experiences, and understanding of the world. The emotional impact of watching your social world disappear extends far beyond simple loneliness and creates a profound sense of disconnection from the world around you. Dr. Robert Waldinger, director of the Harvard Study of Adult Development, found that seniors who experience severe social network shrinkage show measurable changes in brain structure and function within just 2 years. The loss of shared memories and common experiences with peers creates a unique form of isolation that younger people and even family members cannot fully understand or replace. When your friends are gone, you lose not just companionship, but also the people who knew you in your prime, understood your jokes, and shared your cultural references and life experiences. Severe social isolation after age 85 leads to depression, cognitive decline, and a significantly shortened lifespan that can reduce your remaining years by up to 50%. Research from the University of Chicago shows that lonely seniors have inflammation levels comparable to people with serious chronic diseases, weakening their immune systems and accelerating physical decline. Social isolation also increases your risk of dementia by 40% because your brain lacks the stimulation it needs to maintain cognitive function. The psychological impact often proves even more devastating than physical health problems, with many seniors reporting that loneliness is worse than pain or disability. You can protect yourself from social isolation by building intergenerational friendships and joining multiple social groups while you're still in your 70s or early 80s. Cultivate relationships with people of different ages, including neighbors, community members, and people who share your interests rather than just your life experiences. Join at least 3 different social organizations, volunteer groups, or community activities to ensure you always have multiple sources of connection. Evelyn from Sacramento prepared for this reality by joining a book club, a gardening group, and a volunteer organization at age 72, ensuring she maintained active social connections even as her longtime friends became unavailable. Start building your social safety net now, because waiting until you're 85 and already isolated makes it exponentially harder to form new, meaningful relationships. Reality 2. Your body becomes unpredictably fragile. Did you know that at age 85, a minor fall can end your independence permanently, and your body's ability to recover from injuries drops to a fraction of what it was even 5 years earlier? Mayo Clinic research shows that bone density, muscle mass, and healing capacity decline so rapidly after age 80 that by 85, your body responds to stress and injury completely differently than it did in your late 70s. The changes aren't gradual, they often happen suddenly, with seniors reporting that they felt fine one day and dramatically different the next. Your bones become so brittle that simple movements like twisting to reach something or stepping off a curb wrong can result in fractures that require months of recovery and may never heal properly. Simple tasks that you've performed effortlessly for decades suddenly become impossible overnight, often catching both you and your family completely unprepared for the dramatic change. Opening jars, climbing stairs, lifting groceries, or even standing up from a low chair can become monumentally difficult or dangerous without warning. Linda Terry at the University of Washington found that functional decline after 85 often happens in sudden drops rather than gradual changes, with seniors losing multiple abilities within weeks of a triggering event, like a fall, illness, or hospital stay. The unpredictability of these changes makes it impossible to know when you'll need help, creating anxiety and forcing difficult decisions about living arrangements and independence. One injury at age 85 can trigger a cascade of health problems that rapidly destroys your independence and may require assisted living or nursing home care permanently. When you fall and break a hip or wrist, the forced inactivity during recovery leads to muscle loss, balance problems, and increased fall risk that creates a dangerous cycle. Hospital stays become particularly hazardous because bed rest accelerates muscle loss and cognitive decline in ways that are difficult to reverse. Research from Johns Hopkins shows that 40% of seniors who experience a serious injury after age 85 never return to their previous level of independence, and many require permanent assistance with daily activities. You can build physical resilience now by engaging in daily weight-bearing exercises and strength training that specifically target the muscles and bones you'll need most at 85. Focus on exercises that improve balance, core strength, and bone density, such as walking, lightweight lifting, and resistance exercises using bands or household items. Install safety equipment in your home before you need it, including grab bars, improved lighting, and non-slip surfaces in critical areas. Franklin from Portland started a daily strength training routine at age 78, using soup cans and resistance bands, and remained independent through his late 80s despite experiencing 2 falls that could have been devastating. Build physical resilience today because your future independence depends on the strength and bone density you develop and maintain right now. Reality 3. Simple daily tasks become monumental challenges. Tasks you've done effortlessly for 60 years suddenly require careful planning, special equipment, or assistance from others, transforming your daily routine into a series of complex challenges. Johns Hopkins occupational therapy research shows that activities of daily living become significantly more difficult after age 85 due to decreased strength, reduced flexibility, impaired vision, and slower cognitive processing. Bathing becomes dangerous due to fall risk and difficulty reaching all areas of your body safely. Dressing requires more time and energy, especially items like socks, shoes, and anything that requires reaching behind your back or bending over. Preparing meals becomes complicated and potentially hazardous due to memory issues, difficulty handling sharp objects safely, and problems withstanding for extended periods. The psychological impact of losing independence in basic self-care tasks often proves more devastating than the physical challenges themselves. When you can no longer bathe, dress, or feed yourself without help, it affects your dignity, self-worth, and sense of identity in profound ways. Dr. Catherine McLean at UCLA found that seniors who struggle with activities of daily living experience depression rates 3 times higher than those who maintain independence. The need to ask for help with intimate tasks like bathing and toileting creates embarrassment and resentment that can strain family relationships and lead to social withdrawal. Many seniors report feeling like they've lost their adult status when they need assistance with tasks they've done independently since childhood. Loss of independence in daily tasks often leads to the need for full-time care, either from family members or professional caregivers, dramatically changing your living situation and family dynamics. When you can't safely perform basic tasks alone, family members face difficult decisions about your care that may include hiring help, moving you to their home, or placing you in assisted living. The financial burden of care can be overwhelming, with home care costing thousands of dollars monthly and assisted living facilities averaging over $4,000 per month. The loss of independence also increases your risk of abuse and neglect, as you become dependent on others for your most basic needs and safety. You can maintain independence longer by practicing adaptive techniques and installing safety equipment before you actually need them. Learn one-handed techniques for dressing and food preparation. Practice using adaptive tools like button hooks and sock aids, and reorganize your living space to minimize bending and reaching. Install grab bars in bathrooms, improve lighting throughout your home, and keep frequently used items within easy reach. Grace from Denver installed safety equipment and practiced adaptive techniques at age 80, allowing her to maintain independence in her own home through age 87 despite developing arthritis and balance problems. Adapt your environment and learn new techniques now, because it's much easier to practice these skills when you're healthy than to learn them when you're already struggling. Reality 4. Your mind works differently than it ever has before. What happens when your brain processes information differently than it has your entire life, but everyone around you expects you to think and respond the same way you always have? Stanford University research on cognitive changes in healthy aging shows that even seniors without dementia experience significant changes in processing speed, multitasking ability, and memory function after age 85. These changes don't indicate disease or decline. They represent normal alterations in how your brain works that require adaptation and understanding. Your ability to process multiple pieces of information simultaneously decreases significantly, making complex decisions more difficult and time-consuming. Working memory, which allows you to hold and manipulate information temporarily, becomes less reliable, affecting everything from following conversations to managing finances. Processing speed slows dramatically after age 85, meaning you need more time to understand new information, make decisions, and respond to questions or situations. What used to take you seconds now takes minutes, and what took minutes may now require hours of careful consideration. Dr. Patricia Reuter-Lorenz at the University of Michigan found that processing speed changes can make seniors appear confused or incompetent when they're actually thinking clearly, but more slowly. This creates frustration for both seniors and their families, who may misinterpret slower responses as cognitive decline rather than normal age-related changes. The pressure to think and respond quickly can lead to mistakes and poor decisions that reinforce others' concerns about your mental capacity. These cognitive changes lead to dangerous mistakes in judgment, social withdrawal due to embarrassment, and loss of confidence in your ability to make important decisions. When you can't process information as quickly as others expect, You may agree to things you don't understand or make financial and medical decisions without fully comprehending the consequences. Family members may begin questioning your judgment and decision-making capacity, leading to conflicts and loss of autonomy. The frustration and embarrassment of cognitive changes often cause seniors to avoid social situations and stop participating in activities they once enjoyed, accelerating isolation and depression. You can adapt to these cognitive changes by learning new strategies for processing information and communicating your needs clearly to family and healthcare providers. Take more time for important decisions, ask for information to be repeated or written down, and break complex tasks into smaller steps you can handle one at a time. Educate your family about normal cognitive changes in aging so they understand that slower processing doesn't mean impaired judgment. Vincent from Chicago learned memory techniques and told his family about his processing changes, enabling him to maintain sharp thinking and good relationships well into his 90s. Understand and adapt to your changing mind now, because learning these strategies while you're healthy makes the transition much smoother than trying to compensate after problems develop. Reality 5. Everyone starts making decisions for you at age 85. Family members, doctors, and caregivers begin treating you like a child who can't make decisions, often without your consent or input, dramatically changing your autonomy and control over your own life. University of Michigan research on autonomy in advanced aging shows that decision-making authority typically shifts away from seniors around age 85, regardless of their actual cognitive capacity or legal competence. Adult children start making choices about your living situation, healthcare, finances, and daily activities based on their perception of your capabilities rather than your expressed preferences. Healthcare providers may direct conversations to your family members instead of you, discuss your condition as if you're not present, and implement treatment plans without fully explaining them or seeking your informed consent. Others begin deciding where you should live, what medical treatments you should receive, how you should spend your money, and even what you should eat or wear each day. Family members justify these decisions by citing safety concerns, but the result is a dramatic loss of personal autonomy that can feel infantilizing and demoralizing. Dr. Jason Karlawish at the University of Pennsylvania found that many families begin restricting seniors' choices gradually, starting with driving and financial decisions and progressing to more personal choices about daily activities and social interactions. The process often happens so gradually that both seniors and families don't realize how much autonomy has been lost until it's difficult to reclaim. Loss of autonomy leads to depression, resentment, and accelerated physical and cognitive decline as you lose motivation to care for yourself and engage with life. When others make all your important decisions, you begin to feel helpless and worthless, which can trigger a rapid decline in both mental and physical health. Research shows that seniors who lose decision-making authority have higher rates of depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline compared to those who maintain autonomy. The anger and resentment toward family members who take control can destroy relationships and create ongoing conflict that affects everyone involved. Many seniors report that losing control over their own lives is worse than physical pain or disability. You can protect your autonomy by documenting your preferences legally and communicating your boundaries clearly while you're still healthy and competent. Create detailed advance directives that cover not just medical decisions, but also your preferences for living arrangements, daily routines, and quality of life issues. Hold family meetings to discuss your wishes and establish clear guidelines for when and how others should intervene in your decisions. Choose a healthcare proxy and financial power of attorney who understands and respects your values and will advocate for your preferences even when others disagree. Mildred from Kansas City created comprehensive advance directives and held regular family meetings, ensuring her wishes were respected and her autonomy protected throughout her 80s and 90s. Establish your autonomy protections immediately, because once others assume control over your decisions, it becomes nearly impossible to regain that authority without legal intervention. These 5 realities aren't meant to scare you, but to empower you with knowledge that most people don't receive until it's too late to prepare effectively. The seniors who thrive at 85 and beyond are those who anticipated these challenges and took concrete action in their 70s or early 80s to build resilience, maintain connections, and protect their autonomy. Arthur, who I mentioned at the beginning, learned to navigate these realities successfully once he understood what was coming and began preparing both practically and emotionally for the changes ahead. The key is preparation and acceptance. These changes will happen, but how they affect your life depends largely on how well you prepare for them, while you still have the capacity and energy to take action. If this opened your eyes to something you hadn't considered about aging, hit that like button to help other seniors prepare for these inevitable realities. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 realities concerns you most, or if you've already started preparing for any of these challenges. Share this with someone in their 70s or early 80s who needs to start thinking about these issues seriously, because preparation now can make all the difference in how they experience their 85th year and beyond.